Spoilers.
Okay, Amelia, we just saw Sonic 3. What did you think?
I thought the part where Shadow turned into the Chaos Shadow, because I've never seen him, is the best.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool, huh? Um, I think my hypest moment was the after credit scene. I like seeing Metal Sonic. Anyway, so you think people should watch this movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now into the spoiler discussion. Sonic Movie 3. What did I like? What did I didn't like? What did that? First of all, I had some huge concerns based on the trailers about Shadow. Um, I specifically was worried because they were giving him the motorcycle and the guns. I am one of those people who never thought it was cool. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, everybody likes it now." Everybody said we were wrong back in the day, but everybody now knows it's cool. No, I never thought that was cool. But I like one of the things the movies have done is kind of given them kind of like Sonic has like some Speed Force type power. Knuckles kind of has that power. Tails doesn't really have that power, but Shadow has that power too. And it's kind of like chaos energy power. He supercharges the bike, so it makes the bike faster than a normal bike. And that suddenly makes the motorcycle work for me in my head. Before it was like, that would be like the Flash having a car. Like, bad guys are getting away and the Flash hops into a Flashmobile. Doesn't work. Shadow's faster than bullets. Him using a gun. It was a laser gun. And he only used it in a situation where he was trying to flee and not directly confront Sonic. And so it was a range weapon. It was something he could shoot while he was actively fleeing, not stopping and using his powers. So I felt the way they used it, the brief one, it allowed those people that really like that aspect of Shadow to get what they wanted, and it allowed me to not stamp on what I feel brought the character down. He was the living weapon. He's that, so I felt he didn't need these things. But I felt the way they did it in the movie was very tasteful. Him and Maria, building up that relation with Maria, that was really good. There was one time when he said revenge guac that felt very much like Knuckles in the last movie. I'm glad to say that he is not like that throughout the whole movie. He's not overly going that. But building him up with Maria, that was really good. I was a little off-putted by the origin. That like Gerald didn't make him, he crashed to Earth. As much as I thought that like the alien backstory was too weird, it could have easily been that one of the Black Doom aliens crashed to Earth, and Gerald used that to make Shadow. But I get simplifying it for the movie audience. That probably would have been a wrinkle that would have that, but it would have opened it up because they want to do a Shadow series. I would love a Shadow and Stone series. Not in that I want Stone to be like Wade in the Knuckles series. I want it to be Shadow focused, but I could see him and Stone working together. And because they're not going to bring in Rouge, they're not going to. And for those who say that it would have been too much to bring into this movie, I think they could have brought Rouge into this movie. I know why they didn't want to, and I don't think they ever are going to. Like, if they didn't bring it in for this, I don't see them bringing Rouge in later. They could bring in Omega. I think they won't, because if they bring in Omega and not Rouge, then everybody's going to go, why didn't you bring in Rouge? When the reason is obvious. They just don't want that scrutiny on this family-friendly franchise. Now, speaking of family-friendly franchise, everyone has been saying online, you got to cap that girl, you got to cap that girl. It's been a joke. I really hope there were no theaters where people were chanting that. I know a lot of people said they were going to. But I felt the way they did it was very tasteful. And it actually showed more than the video games, because it actually showed her death. And that it wasn't that they shot her directly, which never really made sense. Like, they didn't kill Gerald, but they shot his granddaughter in a government cover-up. Like, that just doesn't seem realistic to me. But the idea that, hey, they were trying to shoot Shadow, they missed, they hit a tank, there was an explosion that killed Maria. I think that was an excellent way to do it. They could show the death, but they weren't showing shooting a kid in a time period when school shootings and theater shootings and all these things are becoming commonplace in the news. Not that they didn't happen before, but they weren't televised like they are now, and they are growing in number. This is the world we live in now, and I think it was important not to glorify that in some way, but what they showed was real. It was impactful. They showed her death, and for everybody that was like, oh, they can't kill her like they did in the games. You can't do that in a PG whatever rating. I don't know if it's PG or PG-13, but they just won't be able to. I'm sorry, but they did it in a rated E for everyone game. They did it in Sonic X, and it was never directly. They never showed her like it. Were people expecting it to be like just her getting riddled with bullets? Like, what were they expecting that was going to be so obscene that it couldn't happen in a kids movie? I mean, like I said, happened in a kids cartoon, happened in a kids video game. Why couldn't it happen in a kids movie? But I feel like the way that they did it actually showed more than those things, because they could have done it the way they could have shown they took a shot and then it was her on the ground. They could have done that, and I don't think that would have affected the ratings. Were they going to show her getting riddled with bullets? Obviously not. They weren't going to show a bloody, gruesome body on the floor, because no Sonic media has ever shown it that way. And all these people that say you can't do that in this movie, they're envisioning something that never existed in the games. And so it's just, but I think the way they did it, very tasteful. I really like the Maria character. They really built her up. Now, the Gerald Robotnik. Now, in the games, he's already died in a firing squad, and he's kind of coming beyond the grave. That has a creepy sense of dread. They took that away. What I didn't like in this movie was Gerald Robotnik. He specifically drove me nuts. Him having every mannerism that Eggman has was just silly. He was more Eggman Naga than he was Gerald. Like, Gerald was a sweet and kind man who became pure evil, wanted to burn the world to the ground because he became consumed with revenge, and he was dark. He was basically executing the world from the grave, and you can't reason with that. You can't. There's no turning of the character, anything like that. So in this, he's alive. Okay, but they made him so much more like Eggman. There was breaking the fourth wall. There was a lot of the dance scene. First of all, why did none of the lasers ever touch their heads? It only covered up to their neck. And they're going there and it's reflecting these lasers that would slice them up. But their heads aren't covered. Shouldn't they have to wear a suit so that no light accidentally zaps them in the head and kills them? That made no sense to me. And then you had them doing the dance thing, and that, I get it. In Sonic 2, you had the dance scene, and it seemed like it was part of Sonic. I forgive that. Some people thought that was too much in that movie. This was too much for me. It was two Jim Carreys synchronized dancing with each other in fat suits and then spandex. Too goofy, too silly. I didn't mind them doing the VR thing. I liked the stuff with Stone. I thought that was good. The very ending when Eggman had to stand off and it was Stone that really was why he was saving the world and all that. That was beautiful. I mean, I got a little tear. Okay? I thought that was great. So it wasn't like I didn't want Jim Carrey in this at all. The Jim Carrey fight where it's Robotnik versus Gerald, or Ivo versus Gerald, they're both Robotnik. Sorry, late when I'm finally recording this. But them, and they suddenly have like the nano suits, and instead of like doing really cool things, like one is being a scorpion and one is being a praying mantis, and he's going. That was very goofy, very silly. And then to everyone saying, because one of the things I saw from a lot of non-spoiler reviews was that there was no fart humor in this movie, that the humor had elevated. I'm going to tell you what, it didn't. It didn't. Because this is the worst fart joke in the whole movie franchise for Sonic. Joe Robotnik dies by getting zapped in the butt with a supersonic quill, which I thought that was weird, that when his quill was separated from supersonic, it goes super too, as if it's some tangentially connected to him. But that getting zapped in the butt caused him to project fart so hard that it flew him into the air, and he went into the thing that Shadow had made that basically acted like a giant bug zapper. Goofy, silly way for him to die compared to being shot by a firing squad while giving his manifesto, basically. Which, admittedly, in the games was kind of hokey and never made sense, because if that was his like last recording when he was going to die, how did he upload it to the Ark and have it programmed to play that message and all those things after he died? Like, who installed that for him? He had to have an apartment, because at that point he was dead. He got shot by the firing squad. So who uploaded the video as part of the whole program? Did did he have some robot do that for him? That'd be kind of interesting to find out. It was interesting. I actually appreciated how they introduced the gun robots, because they didn't have them throughout the movie chasing Sonic. That would have been cool, but given the fact that they didn't have that technology in the first two movies, and in fact the whole reason why they're using Robotnik is because they don't have that technology, and the idea that, okay, this is in this ship and it was designed by Gerald and it's been mothballed because it's too dangerous to mess with, and that they were all in there, but the fact that they worked them in, and that was part of the supersonic fight. There was no BioLizard, except there kind of was, because when Shadow was watching the movie about the alien and the kaiju monster is the BioLizard, which is the actual boss that, if you haven't played the game Sonic Adventure 2, that Supersonic and Super Shadow fight, is that in that little corny sci-fi, and he's watching that and he's like, is this how the world's gonna see me? Am I an alien monster like that? Really good depth of built on Shadow. I think they did Shadow just amazing in this. But our standing cast, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, all done well. And I'm really happy to say that Knuckles was done very well in this. I liked that they gave it to him, like he's constantly portraying that he's not afraid, but he goes in, he attacks Shadow, he gets hurt, and Sonic's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I am very much not okay." He's like he's taken back. He still wants to go, but he's taken back. And then when they make fun of the ghosts, Sonic Adventure 2, he fights King Boom Boom, Pumpkin Hill, all that kind of stuff. I thought him being scared of that, despite being the muscly guy that's scared of nothing, I think was a nice touch. I think it would have been over the top if suddenly there were ghosts in the show, because this is much more grounded. Just like with the Chow Garden, I think the way they handled the Chow was really good in this. They made it a destination spot in Tokyo, which is really good, because they can make that a real thing now, Sega. Although it probably would do better here than it would there. I don't know. But it was one of those things that the fact that they made me feel actually sad that Olive Garden General died. That's just a tribute to how well this movie is done. So there's a lot of things in this movie. Um, Things outside of the Robotniks that outside of Gerald that kind of missed the mark. Wade playing hockey with the Emerald. I could have seen Wade up on the roof playing hockey. Having him play it with the Emerald, I felt was a little bit disrespectful. Even to the Wade character, it's disrespectful. It just that the joke's fine, but it just and after how the Knuckles series landed, maybe if that had landed a little better, that joke wouldn't be so bad. But him actually playing hockey with the Emerald, yeah, I wasn't thrilled about that. Then the other thing that all of a sudden I'm losing track of it. Oh, when they're doing the heist thing, they bring Tom and Maddie in, and I thought to myself, why couldn't Tails just wear the little thing? If they're going to project other humans, then why can't Tails just wear it? Now, they bring Tom and Maddie in because they're probably contracted to do them. Just like the scene with Wade, I think they were required to have a scene with Wade. I think he had, a multi-movie deal or whatever. Maybe he did the show based on the fact that he would get some residual thing from the movie, even though he's only going to be in it for 30 seconds. JoJo wasn't in this though, but they have was it Agent Stone or what? Not Agent Stone. Rachel and her, welcome to the gun show guy. They pose as them. So Tom and Maddie poses them going there. Rachel being able to get past a security guard at a gun facility. They just make guns such a joke in these movies. The Olive Garden thing was already bad enough, but here she basically uses a tactic that would work at maybe a Hertz car rental place or a Holiday Inn or something, with the bellhop or something, not a secret military base. I'm sorry, a woman getting irate at you would not make a security guard with a gun suddenly like, go in, ma'am. That was dumb. And, stuff like that is what makes people who are not Sonic fans that go see this go, I don't get it. This movie's kind of dumb. As a Sonic fan, I can overlook those moments. As much as the wedding scene, the Jim Carrey stuff really brought this one down for me because the tone was more serious during the majority of the movie. So when these moments happened, it really took me out of it. Whereas in Sonic 2, I felt like it was very lighthearted through the whole thing, very jokey through the whole thing. So when they had the wedding scene, it does take you out. It is the time to go to the bathroom. It is all in one chunk. And if you're somebody who didn't like the dancing in Russia, that's right before it. So you pretty much have a chunk of the movie that is maybe too silly for you, that you can kind of zone out, and then the movie picks back up and you get back in. Whereas this, it was just sprinkled throughout. It was like super serious Shadow backstory, cute moments with Maria. Boom. Getting to see Sonic and Shadow go super and fight before they team up to fight Super, which we didn't get to see in the game. I think we got to see it once in Sonic X. That was amazing. That was amazing. Live and learn. Now, I'm going to say this right now, though. As much as I love Live and Learn, I hated that they were cutting between that and the battle with the Robotniks. I wish we would have seen a more complete battle. Let the Live and Learn song play out. Don't give us 30 seconds of Live and Learn, a minute of Robotnik fighting, let's go back and give us another 40 seconds of live and learn. Now let's go back. That like killed it for me because it's like I want to be. Honestly, I think Sonic fans would be in the audience going, live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. We'd be chanting, we'd be singing along. When Sonic fans are at Sonic conventions and at gaming conventions stuff, they sing that song while they're waiting in line and stuff. We go see Crash 40, we sing it. It's something we're excited about. The fact that you just barely got hints of it, it was a tease in a lot of ways. Now, at the end, the ending credit theme to Sonic Adventure 2, that's really sad and somber. They put that in there. I love that. One of my favorite moments is when Stone calls Robotnik and it starts playing I Am the Eggman from Sonic Adventure 2 on the phone. First of all, you're pulling the same thing. Tom had Green Hill Zone. This has I Am the Eggman. I'm like, that is perfect. That was a perfect way to get that in there because he doesn't refer to himself as Eggman. So Sonic does, but it's an insult. So that was a perfect way to throw that song in there. There were some other songs. I think I picked up on a little All Hell Shadow. I'm not sure. Like there were some songs in there, but that's one of the things that the Sonic movie did in Sonic Movie 2 is like they had the drowning music, but it was so faint and so muddled you couldn't really recognize it. There's I Am All of Me and All Hell Shadow are the two Shadow songs. And there were moments where I was like, I think I recognize this music. But it's so quick and then it's gone and it's orchestral and it's muddled out. It's hard to tell. But I love that, musical reference were in there. Game references, what? No onboard snacks or movies? I'm out of here. Now, in the game, it's because he's arrested and on that plane and Sonic jumps out. This one, they're actually being transported by gun, but that he still says the phrase before Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic jump out. And then I love when they land and then Tails kind of catches them and they do the 3 and then they jump out. It's their flight formation in Sonic Heroes. So it's another game reference. I love that they do a lot of game references. This movie for a Sonic fan is just so validating. Once again, Knuckles, Tails, Sonic done perfect. Maria done great. Agent Stone had a great performance in this. Shadow done perfectly. I'm not a big Kiana fan, but he was perfect in this. As someone who's not watched John Wick, The Matrix, I didn't necessarily see the casting here, why he was so great other some of the other ones that were fan casted, but I think he was perfect in this. So just in general, this is a great movie. Tons of fan references that I truly enjoyed. Like I said, my big, I've got 3 things I can complain about. I didn't mind Tom and Maddie, but bringing in Rachel and her boyfriend, husband, whatever he is now, that didn't work. And having the human like that was kind of a little silly. Wade treating the Master Armor like that when Knuckles has chosen him to guard it. Yeah. But the big thing that was just, I feel like to get Jim Carrey back, they had to give him a big paycheck because he's admitted the main reason why he did it was money. But he also said it'd have to be a great script. He doesn't want to come back to play the same role. And he said, hey, I finally want to do a character that I can evolve over the thing. And I feel like they just had to let him go. He was Riddler Jim Carrey. They go, oh, well, somebody said, well, he's more Eastman. I'm not meaning that he's the character of the Riddler. What I mean by that is, in the movie The Riddler, they lost control of Jim Carrey. That wasn't a Jim Carrey movie. It There was a Batman movie with Jim Carrey in it as one of the stars. He's not even supposed to be the lead role. But it became the Jim Carrey movie. It became as ridiculous as an Ace Ventura or something like that. In the Sonic movies, it's Sonic is the title of the movie. It's not Robotnik. So it's not a Jim Carrey movie. It's a Sonic movie. And Sonic 3, which is so heavily focused on shadows, that I did feel at certain points that it was becoming too Jim Carrey. He was giving too much of this. And I'm sure he had fun. I love Jim Carrey. I love his comedy. I just felt it went a little over the top. But then I'm an adult. I'm not a kid. Like, some kids watch this and they think he's super goofy and all that. I love that there was some game music in it. I wish there was more. I would have actually, they felt the need that they had to get somebody other than Crush 40 to do it. I'm sorry, it wasn't superior to Crush 40 singing Live and Learn. Crush 40 nails that song. This remix was serviceable. Really cool moment that it's in the theater and it's in this big epic moment. But it could have even been better if Crush 40 sang it. And they actually had a good chunk of the song together in a long extended scene. But they wanted to do the back and forth with what was going on with the Eggman. And it really didn't help that I was really disliking that Robotnik versus Robotnik fight. So that I was upset every time it cut to that. But it sounds like I'm being negative on this movie. I love this movie. I've already seen it twice. I'm going to see it 2 or 3 more times. And mind you, the only movies I have ever gone and seen more than once in theater are the Sonic movies. I've never done that with any other movie. Even as much as I love Star Wars, when like the special editions were coming out, I wasn't going and watching them every week. They were kind of too fast. They were like there and gone. Episode 1, loved it. I only went and saw it once. I didn't go see it multiple times. Had opportunity to, but didn't. It's funny. I didn't go see Infinity War multiple times. Any of those things. Now there has been movies that I've seen more than once in the movie theater, but we're talking like 5-10 years apart, and it's like in a distant. I went and saw Batman '89 again. I went, Back to the Future. I've gone to the movie theater and seen movies that I've seen in the theater, go and see them again, but not back to back to back within a month, in the same theater run. So the only movies I've done that with are these 3. I went and saw the first Sonic movie, I believe 5 times. I went and saw the second one 3 times just because I was in a situation then where I couldn't go that many times. But I plan on watching this multiple times. I recommend this movie. There's nothing offensive in this movie. There's no this is going to offend you because of this checkbox marking, whatever. No, none of that. It's family wholesome. Don't believe the Birds of Prey crowd. And it's just all around fun. But I will be realistic. It's not a perfect movie. It is not peak cinema, as some people are saying. No, this is something that is, for what it is, it's good. And I hope all enjoyed it. And I welcome your thoughts. What did you like? What did you dislike? What do you think I have wrong, in my opinion? Or what of my opinion you're like, you're the first person that agrees with me on this? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next video. Hey Amelia, we just saw Sonic 3. What was your favorite part?
The part where... No.
Come on.
I don't like this.
Just tell me what was your favorite part of the movie.
No.
Well, that was a bit of a blooper. Not referring to my daughter there, though. I wanted to cut in that for a little humor, but I forgot about the credits. That's what everybody wants to talk about. The credits, it was amazing. I really dig Run It. And the animation there, it was so much Sonic the Fighter, Sonic R type animation, and getting Shadow in that was just so cool. Okay, all that joking aside, yes, the after credit scene, the one that had me so hyped. See, in my opinion, Shadow should have been movie 4 or 5. Because I feel like Shadow has a certain level of fans, almost a set of fans that are more into Shadow than Sonic itself, and I feel like at that point it's going to top out. They're going to have a hard time. I think it's going to be diminishing returns with the other movies as far as box office goes. I'm really glad that this one is kicking Mufasa's butt, so to speak. But yes, Metal Sonic and Amy. They were characters before Tails. The fact that it's taken this long to get them in there, I mean, a lot of people are like, man, we got Tails and we got Knuckles, and then, we got Shadow, and we still haven't gotten a girl character yet. They didn't do Rouge the Bat in this. We didn't get Amy. Sonic got Amy's moment. Amy got a moment in this movie. Oh, she got a moment in this movie. And I love her movie design. It's like, oh, the hood and all that came down. She threw out the hammer like Thor, busting up all those Metallics clones, so to speak, which is cool because I've seen a lot of people mention like the Metallics arc from Sonic the Comic, which is the British, the UK Sonic comic, which is a little bit more crude and humor. Obviously, there might be hints to that, but there's a lot of legal things that Archie also had an arc kind of like that with Neo Metal Sonic and having a bunch of Sonic things. That wouldn't be what was referenced here, but Archie also has a lot of legal things. But Sonic Heroes did. I could see them doing a Sonic Heroes plot. Maybe I doubt Chaotix will show up. I doubt Cream is going to show up. I doubt, although you could have Cream, Amy, and Big. Shit, like Amy introduced there, and she's like, "Oh, and this is my crew." You could have that. Like I said, Shadow could be a character representing his point in that role. The game is kind of bloated story-wise. It doesn't need to have all those characters. It could just be like, here are some characters, and Metal Sonic is absorbing the data from Sonic and all those ones. It could be a hybrid kind of Sonic Heroes in Sonic CD type plot. But just seeing Metal Sonic, and he looks like game Metal Sonic. It works perfect. Perfect. And just like him getting hit and then just like reshaping. And it's like very Terminator vibes. Very good. Of course, he has all those clones then come in. Amy takes those out, but it's, kind of the idea like there's a numero uno, like super bad one that is gonna take a Sonic to take out, but all these clones are like the army that he masses and controls. Just looking forward to that movie so much. I like Metal Sonic more than Shadow. Sorry, not sorry. Yes, Shadow has a much more complicated story. I like Sonic more than I like Shadow. So I'm gonna like Metal Sonic more than I'm like, he's a robot that looks like Sonic. That's just cool. It's a game franchise about Hedgehog fighting robots, and it's a robot that is his duplicate double that mirrors him in every way. Seeing them clash, seeing them battle, I've since '93, I wanted to see that. And for anyone who tried to correct me about him coming before Tails, let me just be realistic here. Sonic CD was finished before Sonic 2. They were in development at the same time, but it was finished before. However, the Sega CD was delayed, and so therefore Sonic 2 got released first, but Sonic CD came out before. And it's just in my mind, and when they did the official timeline, Sonic CD happens before Sonic 2, because Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic and Knuckles all happen in order. They have a story that is established that shows that they all happen in order. So he either has to be after Sonic and Knuckles are there, And Sega has now definitively said, yes, it is between Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So Sonic canonically meets Amy before Tails. And I'm just glad to have her in here. I'm glad that they're showing her powerful, that they're not going to start her out as the damsel in distress that she kind of started as a character. She is now part of Sonic's crew in pretty much all media now. Sonic is a team of 4. It is Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy. They kind of started that with Sonic Boom, but realistically, in all the games, all the show media, like, they show her as part of the main crew. Sonic Prime, she was a big part of that. So was Rouge the Bat out of and Biggs, for all things. They have said, we can have Biggs. Honestly, the one thing they could have done in this movie that would have really made me super happy is if they just had Biggs walking in the background somewhere. Don't explain it. Just because that was the thing in Sonic Adventure 2, which is what this story is based on, is that they weren't going to make him a playable character, but it was just a funny Easter egg is they would have him just randomly in the background. I would have loved somewhere in the show. We're not going to introduce him. We're not going to show that he came through some portal. We're not going to explain why he's there. Just have a big, giant, anthropomorphic purple cat in the background. I think that would have been perfect. But I digress. Still chance to do it in the next movie. But I'm so here for the next movie. The next movie is the story I wanted. That was the story that I was down for. I mean, of course, I wanted the Knuckles story, which we got in Sonic 2, and it was done so well, with the exception of the wedding scene. But that was perfect. And then, of course, the final little thing, Shadow picks up his inhibitor rings, which, by the way, they don't fully explain in the show, but every Sonic fan knows when those come off, those limit his power. Basically, he's so powerful that he can't control it, that he could burn himself out, he could destroy things, so he has inhibitor rings that limit his power, his channeling of the Chaos Emerald power. When those come off, he goes full burst power. So we saw those on the ground, and his shoe walks up, and his hand picks it up. Boom. Shadow still lived. For all the ones I had said, hey, since the cinematic Sonic experience has a lifespan, Jim Carrey's only going to do so many. They're only going to do so many of these movies before, because the property did well. It'll probably be rebooted to all animation, because as well as it's done, the Mario movie from Illumination did way better as far as like numbers and stuff. And I think a full Sonic movie like that would do gangbusters. So I see this Sonic movie franchise, it's going to get a 4th one, maybe a 5th one, maybe a Shadow spin-off movie or show or something. But honestly, I don't see them going through and doing 10 more shows. I don't see them, going and having Sonic Movie 6 where we add up Infinite, or we start making up movie-specific original villains. I just don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. It could, but I don't see it happening. I don't see that. I have a feeling that the novelty, once we're past 4 might be a little less than 3, and then 5 might be a little, and then at a certain point the studio is going to go, okay, this franchise dwindled down, let's reboot it as a fully animated one and bring in Buku Bucks again. That's just how I see it going. We'll see. But that's just kind of how I perceive it going. So I kind of said, hey, I kind of felt like it went a little weird. Let's just do a one and done Shadow. And I had people really upset at me in the YouTube comments, and I'm like, hey, I love Batman, and every Batman movie, the villains die. And it's okay, because it's the movie universe. We're not going to have 6 movies that have the Joker in it. So you can have the movie with the Joker, and the Joker dies at the end of the movie, and the next movie has the Penguin and Catwoman, and, they die in it, and then the next movie. And it's okay, because he's got dozens of villains, and they're not going to make dozens of movies. So it's okay if the villains die in the movie. It's the same thing with Sonic. Like, if Shadow died, It's not like it's not like we're about to get, you know, Shadow the Hedgehog 5. You know, people have pie in the sky. I'm like, the Knuckles show should tell you something. Like, whatever the Shadow spinoff is, it's probably not going to be what you think it's going to be. But for those that wanted that, congratulations, you got it. He's still alive. There's still going to probably be more Shadow content because they can't resist putting a little something on Paramount Plus. So I look forward to checking that out when it happens. Anyways, love this. The Sonic, thing at the end with Metal Sonic. That to me was the best part of this whole movie, was Metal Sonic and Amy at the end. And I knew this is the one thing I didn't want to be spoiled on the thing. Like every other plot point you could have spoiled me on. I don't care. It's Sonic. I know Sonic lore in and out. I've seen this story told in comics, in 2 different comics. I've seen it told in fan comics. I have seen it told in Sonic X. I know, and of course, I've seen it in Sonic Adventure too. I know this story. Yes, they're going to tweak it. I've seen it tweaked and told different ways multiple times. I felt like I couldn't be spoiled on it. Like, nothing that they were going to do was going to, like, be mind-blowing. Like, unless they made Maria lived and Shadow lived happily ever after with Gerald and Maria in a suburban house, and that was the end of the... Like, there was nothing they could have done that would have been like, I can't believe they did that. They could have had Black Doom invading, and it wouldn't have been like this, oh my goodness, I can't believe... But I knew that they were going to reveal a new character, and I thought it's either going to be Metal Sonic or Amy. And if I'm really hoping, both, and it was both. We got what I was like dreaming it would be, and I am so happy for it. Anyways, that is now my final thought. I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about that, despite the fact that I had already drawn on for over 30 minutes. So I'm just a happy Sonic fan. And that is actually what I'm most excited about, is actually Sonic Movie 4. With that, I'll catch you in the next video.